Okay, so now we've have our product, we have got our first sales, we have some traction in the market, and we need to scale the business. We see that the product is very good. That's when we need money, and that's where EON Venture Bridge comes in. It's a whole package. It has an integrated due diligence engine. It has access based on real results, and it triggers a number of revenue sources. So the whole idea is very simple. Today, as we speak, there are millions of investors across the world that want to invest in artificial intelligence. Unfortunately, they don't have many options, right? You can, there's not many companies that are pure AI that are on the stock market today. There are companies like Google and Microsoft and others that are, you publicly traded, but AI just is a small piece of their business. Then there are pure AI companies like OpenAI and Anthropic, but these are not available for normal investors, right? And there are also unicorns in Silicon Valley, which oftentimes, to be honest, are very overpriced, and they are also only available for a few. So this solution to have pre-vetted entrepreneur-led companies that are AI first offers a huge opportunity to invest in a safe and predictable market. So the idea is to capture the AI economy before Wall Street discovers it. As you can see, AI market projected to contribute almost 16 trillion globally by 2030. 95%, this is a staggering figure, today is captured by Silicon Valley giants and inside investors. If you look at emerging markets, that remains completely undervalued. That's a huge opportunity. And there's also something called geographic arbitrage that you can see these AI solutions are trading 5 times to 10 times lower in emerging markets than, for example, in Silicon Valley. So there is a first mover opportunity here to invest, although this window is closing soon. I use a little bit of a provocative word. I call it the investment apartheid system. This fact that 95% of elite deals are reserved for geographic insiders. If you look at it, they are traditionally VCs within 90% of funding flowing to just 3 cities. And one of them is San Francisco. You can guess which are the other 2. We have accredited investors that are shut out from pre-IPOs. We have emerging market entrepreneurs with local expertise but no access to capital networks. And we have a geographic bias that creates a massive arbitrage opportunity for informed investors. And that's where this agent proprietary revolution can come to place. People own AI agent. They are generating 24/7 passive income. You have huge profit margins for these companies. They are solving local problems. And that's what this investment platform is, connecting these successful AI companies that have been pre-vetted with qualified investors that can enter the marketplace. So when I say pre-qualified, these are not any businesses. These are businesses that already have gone through the program. We know they have a high success rate. They've generated the first revenues. So the investors don't have to go through that vetting process. And so what you get, how does it work practically? So you have to be accredited investor. We are following the SEC regulation, and there is a definition what accredited investor is. You have to have $250,000 minimum investment. It's a threshold. There's also some other requirements that following those very strict regulations that EON AI Venture follows, although we are an international company. There's multiple revenue streams that come with these companies, from platform access fee, transaction success fee, equity participation. etc. So this is quite exciting. If you look at companies here, you have many companies that are part of this process. You can see companies in Africa around farming, digital marketplace for informal economy in Latin America, health, guidance in India, etc. Yeah, so this slide talks about global infrastructure and support system. This talks also about the 90 days implementation launch. And this talks about this huge opportunity to transform the region. So on that note, we are basically done with the presentation. So for you that don't want to have learn about a little bit of fun and coding joke, I think the presentation is over. Feel free to contact us. Looking forward to engage with you. For you that are interested to hear more, I'm going to just briefly, and this is with a slight smile and humor on my face, talk about the death of the code monkeys. And the basic idea of this is that it used to be that people, let me tell you a story. Through my life, in my entrepreneurial life, I always said, give me a great team and a lousy business idea. I would much rather have that than a mediocre team with a phenomenal business idea. And the reason for that is that everything has been about execution. And to be honest, it still is in this hybrid time for the next maybe 2-3 years. But very quickly, we are moving in a territory where the idea is very important and still drive and grit and a few other things that we described in a Wayfinder. But the actual execution, and we also see it with Wealth Weaver, is done by artificial intelligence, which means that I am a code monkey. I have master in computer science. I jokingly about the death of the code monkeys. Does it mean that programming will disappear? Does it mean that your kids shouldn't study programming? No. But it means that what you're going to do with respect to programming is very different. So I jokingly say why your CTO is polishing their LinkedIn profile and how AI turned idea guys from punchline to profit center. So the ability to come with creative ideas then and work together with AI becomes a very, very potent solution. And the reason behind that is simple, because you can't really outwork an agent. But for now, you can out-imagine one, and people say that maybe in a couple of years they will be able to be creative and out-imagine us. That may happen, but by then we are in a situation where we can all relax and have enormous wealth generated by this AI. So I think that will take some time. So code used to be the competitive edge, but as you know, AI doesn't sleep, it never forgets, and execution goes much faster. So I do think, interesting, when we're looking for people now, we say that a technical background does help, and you can see the first incubator, and especially the ones that are, let's say, leading companies that are unicorns in $1 billion still have technical people. But increasingly, I think that will be much more democratized, and idea people become more important because intelligence becomes very cheap, while the vision and the idea to solve problems become priceless. Sam Altman said recently, intelligence is now too cheap to meter. If you look at EON didn't start as an AI company, but now we become an AI company. But some interesting lessons to learn. We didn't have a VC, we didn't have a code army. We had good ideas and a few good programmers, and now increasingly most of our code is done by AI. And that helps us to save cost, and that helps us to increase the speed. So I foresee that most of our AI companies in the Wealth Weaver program will have a handful programmers and hundreds and eventually thousands, 10,000s of agents. So that's happening. And another thing that I would like to say is that sometimes naivety is, like we see in this picture, is helpful. Not long ago, we saw that Meta acquired Scale AI, and the gentleman there, Wang, he got, I think, $15 billion. He acquired actually the team. And his approach to this is that he was not an expert in the area that he's doing. He was naive, but approached it with a fresh approach. Now, most of us, especially if you're a coder, you're not a traditional coder, you become a conductor, you become an orchestrator, and if you are an idea guy, a good idea guy, and can inspire other people, you can become the new type of CEO. So if you combine leadership, vision with AI, you have the formula. So when you recruit to your wealth weaver, you need to have people that have vision, that have creative strategies, that can whisper, agent whisper, can actually interact and do the vibe coding. And this team may be as little as 3 people or 300 agents. Another way to put is that you may have the hustler, the guy that always, let's say, Steve Jobs type, that is amazing at convincing other people and providing a clear vision. But the Wozniak, the gentleman that actually did all the coding, can be the AI. So we believe this playbook works. We still think we may, for an intermediate period, need some technical co-founder, but eventually less and less so. You definitely don't need the venture capital to start it. Once for the startup, you can use the wealth weaver, but eventually, once you need to scale, you will benefit from the venture bridge. The key is to get to customer first and measure real outcomes. Customer is the best way to see if your idea really carries weight or is just a paper tiger. So I say, welcome to the idea economy. I would end up with everybody can build, few knows how to build. So you can build things, but they need to make sense. The execution part will be equalized by the Wealth Weaver program, and your imagination becomes the premium. The last presentation I want to talk about slightly about the brainstorming. You need to use different ways. We believe in spatial, right? Obviously, we are an XR company, so we believe that having ideas that can be visualized. If you look at, the Renaissance, what made Renaissance bloom was the ability to visualize things, whether it was machinery from Leonardo da Vinci or atomic bodies. And now we have a new tool, which is this virtual reality that can actually embody those ideas. So this is about how to overcome creative stagnation. And we have a new solution with EON Brainy. How to amplify talent. How to overcome, action paralysis. And how to use XR in this seamless flow for your innovation. So on that note, if you want to learn more about EON brainstorming and what it entails, contact us. I'm sure you'll have many questions. Yes, it's been a long discussion, but what's my final advice? There's been times in my life when I've been in the leading or even bleeding edge of technology. And many times, not at least with EON, we've been long ahead of the curve. Sometimes, I would say with EON, more than a decade. And many people say, yeah, you should be in the leading edge, but not in the bleeding edge. Now, when it comes to AI, and when it comes to the EON Wealth Weaver program, it's not too late, but it's almost too late. If you want to be a part of this future, if you want to actually influence where AI is going, I really strongly recommend you to join this program. You can contact us directly. You can email me. My email is dan@eonreality.com, or contact our team. Very excited about this and looking forward to chat with you. All the best. Take care and bye.